Hello YouTube, this is Mogul Khan. I'm joined here with Drazy, a fellow mid laner, and today we are bringing you a Dota 2 mid lane tier list. For this tier list, we are using the in-game client, the role assistant mid lane tier list for the Divine bracket, and we have added, unfortunately, Pangolier and Monkey King are not on here, but we have added them in because I believe Drazy believe them to be decent heroes. You won't be seeing an Ogre Magi win rate or a Timbersaw win rate, although Timbersaw can be played in the mid lane and Ogre Magi can be played in the mid lane. Those heroes, you actually don't see them very often in the mid lane, so we're just using the heroes you'll actually kind of see. So we have them broken up into categories. We have S, A, B, C, D, S cheese, and C cheese. I will read off the hero alphabetically. I will say the Dotabuff win rate, according to Dotabuff, the mid laner's win rate, and also the Dota 2 Pro Tracker. Both of those websites will be linked in the description of this video, and you can check those out. They're just statistics videos. We are not going to be basing the tier lists off of those win rates. They're going to be based off of our personal opinion. Drazy, do you play a lot of Dota?
Too much Dota.
I also play too much Dota. We're both, I would consider ourselves pretty good mid laners. You know, we're no Sumail or CCNC or anything like that, but those people probably won't bring you a tier list, so that's what we're here for. Drazy, any thoughts about the meta 7.28?
My thoughts on the meta are, if you're a mid laner, your job is just to fight. It seems to me that if you're not making space and you're not taking control of the map, you're playing the mid lane wrong. Unless, of course, there's the exception where you have a high-tempo safe laner, and you can pick your Arc Wardens or your Alchemist mid and still crush the game that way.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. My thoughts on the patch are the greedy heroes like Medusa, Alchemist, Arc Warden, like those heroes can work, but you obviously don't want to be picking those like every game. I would consider those like more situational picks. But we're going to just rank these based off of like what you can be picking every game, like what feels really strong, what feels very hard to deal with, etc., etc. So without further ado, we're going to get into Alchemist. Alchemist, according to Dotabuff, his win rate is 52% across all brackets. That's pretty good, but then you look at his Dota 2 Pro Tracker win rate of 39%. So very big disparity there between all brackets and Dota 2 Pro Tracker. Oh, and also just a shout out before we continue, all of these win rates are taken today, 2/6/2021. So if you check on 2/7/2021 and you say, "Oh, Mogul Alchemist win rate is actually 37%," well, I'm sorry. So sorry if that's wrong. So what are your thoughts on Alchemist, Drazy? I would like, if I were to talk about Alch, I think he's very good I play a lot of Alch, I think he's very good in the right games, but oftentimes you'll just tilt your team by picking Alch, and everyone will kind of cry, and your team morale will kind of crumble, and you'll lose the game. In terms of overall power level, I think he's really strong, but I think he's a pretty risky pick in the current meta, because like Drazy said, and like I also agree, you kind of want to be fighting all the time, and if you aren't doing that, and the other mid laner is like a Void Spirit, he runs around and kills your carry like 2 or 3 times, your carry's just going to cry and probably break his items. So what are your thoughts on Alchemist? Playing against Alchemist, or do you play Alchemist, Drazy?
I do play some Alch. I think Alch is super strong. I think he scales better than ever as he currently stands. It kind of used to be Alch hit his mid-game peak, and then once he got to the late game, Alch fell off a good bit.
Uh-huh.
And you didn't have to fear him as much, but every game that I've seen him in or have had him in, he's no longer just a mid-game stomp hero. He scales really well into the late game.
He scales well in the late game, and also just he hits that fast timing. If he's able to get that, 13 to 15 minute Radiant / Battle Fury, and just farm for like 5-7 minutes, he can kind of just end the game at 30 minutes if given the right space. I would consider him a cheese hero, would you not?
I don't consider Alch as much of a cheese hero.
Huh. Really? Okay.
He has some cheesy. I mean, yeah, he has some cheesy components to him, I suppose. But
So where I'm thinking from our discussion, I'm thinking like high B tier or like low A tier. Like he's definitely not S tier. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I'd put him in A. I think in the majority of brackets in Dota 2, an Alc pick mid lane, if you can farm well, you're gonna carry the game.
Yep. Okay. I'm settled on that. All right. Our next hero, Arc Warden. My least favorite hero to play against in the mid lane. According to Dotabuff, I'm also rounding all these percentages up or down to the nearest full number. According to Dotabuff, Arc Warden has a 52% win rate across all brackets in the mid lane. And according to Dota 2 Pro Tracker, has a 56% win rate in the mid lane. Drazy, you play a lot of Arc Warden. I'll let you handle this one. What are your thoughts?
You know, I want to, out of my own curiosity, I want to see what the pick rate is compared to the win rate on Arc Warden.
Absolutely.
So he's been picked 384 times in the last 8 days, and has a win rate of 46.1 currently.
That's across, but are you in Dota 2 Pro Tracker?
Yeah, this is just...
Check the mid, like open it, expand that page, and then you can check the... Like I checked it.
So mid is correct. Mid is 56.4% win rate.
Correct. Yep.
Carry is 47.9.
Yeah.
To me, Arc Warden, if you can play this hero well, I mean well, I don't mean you have 10 games on the hero and you think you can play the hero well. If you can really master this hero, I think you, in a majority of the brackets, this is another hero that will solo carry the games.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
You can limit your deaths, you can farm well, you can hit that kind of later mid-game timing where you're 4 or 5 slotted. You take one good team fight and you kill all the buildings. Kind of like an Alchemist. If you get any sort of good team fight, all of a sudden you've lost all your T2s and possibly your racks.
The difference, I'll say, I play against a lot of Arc Warden. I don't play Arc Warden at all. It's just not a hero that I've been... I mean, I like the idea, you know, doubling your items and shit. Like, that's really cool. Doubling all your spells. But playing against Arc Warden, a good Arc Warden, is fucking miserable, dude. He sets up like 8 traps behind you and then fluxes you, and if you don't have a way to get rid of that, and say your last creep is dying, like sometimes you have to like fort the last creep and run towards it, but you don't want to run into him because his trading is so strong and he just puts you in these awful positions. So, you know, I think I die the most out of all heroes to like Arc Warden. Like, it's not Viper, it's not like Quap, it's just fucking Arc Warden, because I play like Ember, like I play these heroes that just like Arc Warden loves to play against, you know. Now, of course not in the mid game and shit, but in the lane, you know, he loves that shit. So I think honestly, I mean, just the fact that I've seen just the illusion solo kill people, because people are so stupid. Even at Divine, bro, even at like Immortal, I've seen people just walk up to the illusion and they think they can kill it, and then the illusion just kills them.
Yep.
And on top of that, you get like 2 sheep sticks, 2 bloodthorns, 2 whatever the fuck you need, you know, whatever your team needs, you can get that, and you don't get 1, you get 2. So honestly, personally, I'd put him in like even S tier, bro. Like I think that hero's nasty, maybe A tier. I think he's better than Alk though. So if we're gonna put him in A tier, we'd have to.
I definitely think Arc Warden is S tier.
Okay, I would agree too. I think if you know how to play him, you know, if you know how to play Arc Warden, like Jesus, like that hero is fucking nasty.
And just for the sake of saying it, you have to be. I wouldn't suggest picking Arc Warden every single game. He's not a Void Spirit that you can pick every game and be pretty safe. He kind of needs the right draft and the right game.
Sure.
But in those games, I'm pretty confident if you know how to play the hero, you can carry the game.
Okie dokie. So on to our next hero. We have Batrider. According to Dotabuff, 47% win rate across all brackets in the mid lane. And according to Dota 2 Pro Tracker, is a 54% win rate in the mid lane. I have not been playing a lot of Bat. I've played against a couple Bats. And the way the drafting order kind of works, if they're last picking their Batrider and you're last picking your, I don't know, Shadow Fiend or Ember Spirit or your Void Spirit, or, you know, you kind of just get dumpstered. And on top of that, you know, his scaling is very nice. That strong single target disable in the late game with, you know, ramping up that movement speed with Boots of Travel, Drums, or Yules or whatever. You can definitely solo carry games on this hero. However, I feel as though across all brackets, as I said, the Dota 2 Pro Tracker win rate is 54%, but I think it's not as... you have to know what you're doing on the hero. I wouldn't put him to the same caliber as Warden. What do you think, Drazy?
I definitely think Batrider's S tier mid laner. I think Batrider's S tier, period. No matter offlane, mid lane, it doesn't matter.
Really?
Good, yeah, absolutely. Good Batrider players. And just what the hero offers in terms of BKB piercing ulti, he can push waves really fast, he jungles very fast. He just kind of covers all the bases.
I think you're right. I probably have some negative bias towards Batrider. Because normally when they're on my team, they don't do too hot.
Right.
But yeah, I have, in pro games too, Enigma, picking them up, Weehaw, Batrider, that's a fucking force to be reckoned with. And on top of that, even if you lose the lane, which it's, very hard to lose the lane on Batrider because of your sticky napalm and all your other abilities, I feel as though, you can catch back up with stacks, which is the sign of a great mid laner, being able to rapidly accelerate your farm. So, yeah, I'm down to put him in S tier, actually.
I mean, he's definitely leans towards the greedier side of mid laners, but if he's a lane dominator, so if you crush your lane, which chances are you're going to, you can probably get 2 or 3 kills in the lane.
Yeah.
Maybe not 3, but at least probably 2, and then you snowball out of there. You have a quick blink, make a ton of space, and you can just single-handedly steamroll the game, and ideally make space for your carry.
Okay. As we get further along, we can move some shit around. But I think, would he be ahead of Warden or below him? I think below. I would put him below. Maybe that's biased still. I just feel like you can punish a Batrider harder than an Warden. Or would you disagree?
Yeah, but I think the only qualm I have is Batrider offers more earlier.
He does. He doesn't. I mean, he still scales well, but with Lotus Orbs and Lincoln Spheres and all these things being pretty good items, it's just a matter of it'd be hard because I think if it was a 30-minute mid lane tier list, then yeah, Batrider. But then if it was a later on in the game, it's just a matter of what's stronger, right? The
tricky,
scalability or the early
Think
tempo.
about Bat though. Even if Bat dies a few times, he still has something to offer to a fight or to the game.
Sure.
Warden dies a few times in lane, he gets behind. It's
Sure.
Just...
All right, that sounds good. That's a good compromise. Yeah, I like that. Any closing thoughts on Batrider, Drazy?
I think he's a fantastic hero, and if you want to climb solo MMR, pick this hero and learn how to play it.
Okay. Watch Monkeys Forever. Plays in the off lane, but pretty much the same stuff. Except for you don't do as much cutting of the waves in the mid lane. That's suicide. Alright, next hero is Broodmother. That's my girl. Dotabuff win rate in the mid lane is 53% win rate, and the Dota 2 Pro Tracker mid lane win rate is 58% win rate. I don't think we have to talk much about this hero.
Yeah, just
S
go ahead
cheese.
and get rid of the S cheese.
For those of you who don't know, though, you can lose on Broodmother. I have had games where they have... I spam... I don't spam Brood, but I do pick her quite a bit. And people have Overwolf and stuff, and they'll just scope me out, and they'll be like, all right, I'll just pick mid-tiny and pick up a tree and walk up to you and right-click your babies once and kill them all. So, those types of lanes are really hard, but more often than not, you're playing against, a Zeus or a Ember Spirits or... I don't know, Invoker, or Warden. What a stomp of a lane that is for Broodmother. Yeah. Can't even use Flux on you. Spark Rate doesn't work on you because he just kills a bait. None of his abilities work, basically. So I think Broodmother is an S tier cheese hero. Obviously, you don't want to be picking this every game, and it doesn't work in every comp, but yeah, definitely recommend that hero.
Yeah, she's been S tier for a while.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll continue to.
Oh, dude, and on top of that, she spec'd into some new stuff. The Shard is actually pretty fucking good. I don't know if you've played it or with it, Drazy, have you?
I haven't been picking much Brood lately. I haven't gotten to experiment. I had one game that I played and it didn't go very well.
Ah, yeah. Well,
I haven't got to get my hands on it yet.
the web spit. I don't think that's that name. I think it's like Bola.
Silken Boa.
Yeah, Silken Boa. Basically, it's just an Atos, but it's tied to your web charges. It's definitely a win more item. Like, if your webs are running thin on Broodmother and you have, like, 3 webs left, you don't want to really use a charge, because that sucks, because then you only have 2 webs. But if you're, like, if you have Ags, you know, you have 20 additional charges, and all of a sudden you have a stun. It's not a stun, it's a root, but, like, they can't TP out. If they Ghost Scepter, you just root them. If they, you know, try to Glimmer Cape, you root them. It actually does reveal. So very strong item there for Brood in the new patch. All right, on to Clinkz. Clinky boy, Clinkz. Dotabuff win rate, 54% win rate across all brackets. But Dota 2 Pro Tracker mid lane win rate is 53, so actually goes down in the higher levels by 1%. Not a huge margin, but you've been playing a lot of Clinkz, Drazy?
No, I'm pretty anti-Clinkz. I despise this hero.
Like, he's good, you despise him, or he's bad, you despise him?
I just hate playing against him. I hate dealing with him.
I love Clinkz.
He's too strong, personally.
He is very strong. He doesn't have a lot of the good things that makes a mid laner, like wave clear. Definitely more of a tempo mid, but also you need items. So kind of fall into this rough spot where you want to run around and kill people, but you also want to hit creeps. But you don't hit creeps very well. You know, you're not a death prophet. You're not like, you have no really way to farm creeps other than your death pact, which is like a 100-second CD, one target creep. So in terms of like traditional mid lanes, you know, farming and whatnot, you can solo carry. I have seen some fat ass Clinkz for sure, but in terms of like you check the last hits at the end of the game and they're like, oh, they just got all that gold through kills and snowballing and that kind of thing. Definitely very good at taking ancients with the ability to strafe and Searing Arrows, just doing a ton of physical damage to those ancients. I mean, you don't play a lot of Clinkz. I'd probably put him like in A tier above the Alchemist.
Yeah, I mean, Clinkz is kind of a weird hero altogether. He wants to gank people, but you need items to gank, so you want to farm, so you're this weird, like, in-between where you...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not a Void Spirit where you need items and, like, you're running around with, like, Treads, Wraithband, and, like, half of your Orchid, and you're like, oh, dude, I can't do this anymore. And you die once, and your game's just over.
I mean, I definitely think Clinkz is really, really strong.
I think so, too, yeah.
The amount of HP he can get from eating specific creeps is kind of nuts, actually.
Yeah, and then like pairing that with a very, like, if we were to make a pause 5 tier list, I think Coddle would be up there as S tier or high A tier, and pairing Clinkz with Coddle, one of the strongest supports. So I mean, if you have a Coddle on your team, pick Clinkz, guys. Pick Clinkz, like, seriously. Or if you have an Enchantress or any type of buff to that HP of a creep, you know, pick Clinkz, carry your games. Any more thoughts on that, boy, Drazy?
I mean, yeah, like late game Clinkz with the skeleton army and just the amount of skeletons out on the map in a fight. If you don't have the heroes to kill the skeleton army, he kind of just shreds everybody.
Yeah, right.
And it's really hard to deal with.
I feel like... sorry, go ahead.
I think that in terms of a mid laner, though, Clinkz he has mana problems, he has tempo problems.
For sure.
I think that's one of those heroes that needs kind of the right draft, sort of like an Arc Warden, but
yeah,
not as dependent on that.
Agreed.
I definitely think it has the potential to be a solo carry climb MMR hero. I'm always personally a little wary of picking it because usually my draft needs a high tempo hero to make space for my Terrorblade or whatever the hero is.
Yeah, sure.
And Clinkz isn't a hero I would pick in that situation, but I do think he's very strong and worth experimenting with for sure.
Okie dokie. On to Death Prophet. Little ghosty girl. Dotabuff win rate.
On her.
Yeah, she's we'll get to her in a second. Dotabuff win rate across all brackets in the mid lane is 48%, where the Dota 2 Pro Tracker win rate is 52%. So it does go up quite a bit there. I feel as though you definitely need a team to work around your hero. So I would not recommend picking this. If you're like smurfing and you're playing Death Prophet and you're like, guys, come push with me, and they're all like jungling, you're like, oh shit, I can't really do anything. I can't really like, I guess I could hit creeps too, but you don't really want to do that. You want to like take buildings and take over the game, and that's why I think her win rate jumps up, 4% from across all brackets all the way to immortal level games, is because people understand the strength of that Death Prophet, like people understand the 5-minute catapults. Oh, I'll go mid with my Death Prophet and take the tower at 5 minutes, and then I'll take the tier 1 bottom at 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden you have a 3k gold lead at 12 minutes or whatever because of this Death Prophet hero. Thoughts on that, Drazy? Or
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. DP is a very team-oriented hero, which is why I do not pick her in pubs very often. She doesn't solo kill people for that well. She's not you're not gonna rotate to the top lane and just walk around and solo kill everybody. She's
Sure.
not that mobile without exorcism up. She's very much kind of move as a unit, take objectives hero.
Sure.
Which I've found is not the most ideal way to play pub games because, as we all know, getting people to coordinate.
Oh, they're so uncoordinated, bro. Like, man, I'll get to Pugna. I'll talk all about Pugna. Just same kind of shit, but yeah, people do not really listen to you, even though they've played against Death Prophet 1,000 times and they've played with the Death Prophet 1,000 times. They just, it's hard to get people on the same page. So,
I just think she's very niche, in my opinion.
yeah, she's good though. I mean, she's definitely a lane dominator, which is great and all. But Viper's a lane dominator, but he's he's Viper. I think she's good. I think I'd put her in like B tier, just because. I mean, you can disagree or agree.
I mean, I do think she's.
If we're talking about all brackets though, like if this was like a Divine Immortal tier list, I mean maybe that would trickle down. But
Yeah,
I guess if you're playing
Immortal.
if you're playing like a Legend game, I wouldn't
would not
recommend
it.
picking DP. I mean, you could definitely win your lane and shit, and I just don't think the coordination would be there to make your hero really that strong,
Yeah, and if the coordination's not there, she kind of gets stuck in this awkward. She doesn't really flash farm. She doesn't really want to right click creeps.
Yep.
She's just kind of in this weird in between, and then you fall behind, and then all of a sudden you've missed your DP timing, and then probably gonna lose the game.
Whereas inversely, going back to Alchemist, like in Immortal level games, he has a 39% win rate, but we put him on A tier because I feel as though you can solo carry games like Crusader all the way through Ancient, just easily, bro, easily, like.
Because we gotta keep in mind, in Divine High Immortal, they're gonna be blocking his camps. They're gonna be buying the vessel. They're gonna be, they know how to deal with that hero and shut him down.
Sure. Any more thoughts on DP?
Ego. No, I think
B's solid.
Respectable.
She's definitely not like bad by any means. Like I'm not saying B is like I think she's a better hero than Alchemist right now, to be honest. But in terms of like winning your solo queue games, like I think Alchemist is far stronger than a Death Prophet, just in my opinion.
I would agree.
All right, moving on to Dragon Knight. According to Dotabuff, 51% win rate. Wow, what a great hero. According to Dota 2 Pro Tracker, 38% win rate, worse than Alchemist. I do not think you can solo carry games on a Dragon Knight. I do not think you can win a lot of lanes as a Dragon Knight. Sure, you have your Dragon Blood, but a lot of mid laners just have so much burst right now. And if you're playing, like, let's imagine you're playing against a Batrider. Are you going to have a good time? No. Okay. What about an Alchemist? Oh, okay, you get free farm, but so does he. You're not going to push him out. Like, all of these matchups are just pretty fucking bad for DK. What are your thoughts on DK, Drazy?
Yeah, I think DK is in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
In terms of mid lane, I've seen him played elsewhere where he looks okay. I actually saw this High Immortal game where they were playing DK support and they bought a meme hammer.
Oh yeah.
Ton.
Yeah. That shit's bomb. But it's like, that's a support DK. That's not mid lane DK. It's not like, you just don't scale very well. Like, you don't scale as good as the other mid laners. Like, I have seen some DKs pop off. You know, they get Ags, they get SNY, you know, all this shit. BKB, Silverette. Yeah, they get all these items, and that's just like a fed DK. But in terms of like overall games, like I've played DK a couple times, and he's just pretty underwhelming. And when I'm against a DK, like 9 out of 10 times I'm winning the lane. Like,
yeah, you don't fear DK at all.
no,
right
not
now.
afraid of him at all. Okay, so we don't have to talk much about him. Ember Spirit, one of my favorite heroes. Dota buff win rate 49%, and Dota 2 Pro Tracker 49%. I don't think he's as good as like Void Spirit or Storm Spirit. He is good. This is just my personal opinion. Drazy, I'm sure you have some thoughts. I think he has some good. He's definitely a tempo level hero, but there's just so many goddamn dispels right now, man. There are so many dispels in the game where like you get your Flame Guard and you're like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go, and then all of a sudden like an Oracle just queues you. Obviously you're not going to pick into an Oracle, but what was I was playing against something the other day, and it just caught me off guard, and I'm like, oh, I guess they have a dispel every 10 seconds now. And my Flame Guard's 30 seconds. Granted, you're not playing Ember for Flame Guard. You know, you have that mobility, you have that Sleight of Fist, you have that Root, you have that everything. He's just a very flashy hero. But I just think there's definitely better mid laners right now than Ember. What are your thoughts, Drazy?
I personally think Ember is easily still S tier.
Really?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I would agree Void Spirit is probably slightly stronger, but if you compare their win rates, they're pretty much identical.
Void Spirit's win rate is 52%.
Yeah, so
and Ember is 49. So I mean, it is a 3% difference, which isn't huge, but it's like that's like Death Prophet territory kind of win rate, you know? Or that's like
Ember, man, he can push waves. He's mobile. He's all over the map. He scales decently. I do think heroes like that, like Ember and Void Spirit, their win rate's a little.
Well, it's a skill, like it's a like high skill ceiling hero, right? So you could imagine that the average across all brackets, like Guardian all the way through Divine, you know, that's going to be a little lower, which is 49%. But also the Dota 2 Pro Tracker win rate at the highest level, it's a 49%.
Yeah, it's tricky.
I've played a lot of Ember games where I felt like it was a great Ember game, and then I lost, and maybe that was me. I feel like he's, I don't know. I wouldn't put him S tier. And I mean,
he's at least A tier.
He's A tier. I'd put him A tier. I would put him A tier if you know what you're doing on Ember. A tier. But I think you need to play. I think you have like 300 games, and so do I. I think you need to play like 300 games to make him A tier. That's just my opinion. Like, you can't play this guy 10 times and then, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he loses a lot of mid matchups.
He does lose a lot of mid matchups, and he doesn't scale as well as, say, a Pango. You know, I think Pango scales way better than an Ember, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, Ember's not gonna. I think the key point with like most of the Spirit heroes, with maybe the exception of Storm, they don't turn into late game powerhouses, and if you haven't won the game, you know, by the late game, your hero starts to. You still do damage, don't get me wrong, but you're not nearly as impactful as you were from the 10 to 20 minute mark or 20 to 25.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm fine with him in A. I think you would be below these two heroes though, in terms of like overall winning your games. Okay, cool on that. Huskar, what a fucking hero. I don't know if you've been watching some of this shit. I played him the other day. Dota buff win rate 52%. Dota 2 Pro Tracker win rate 58% win rate. They are going Aghanim Scepter, blinking or leaping you from twice the range and then stunning you for like 3 seconds and killing you. It's fucking nuts. I played it. It felt pretty strong. I definitely think he's a cheese hero though, so we don't have to put him anywhere over here. Have you played against a Huskar or as a Huskar?
I have not seen Huskar hardly at all in 7.28, to 2-8? Yeah, 2-8.
Well, I mean, the win rate's there, 52 and 58, according to those
I mean,
sources.
I've always thought, even when Huskar was considered quote-unquote bad, I still have always thought you pick Huskar in the right game, you still can carry the game with a Huskar.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
obviously is a cheese hero, right? It's like that sample size is pretty small.
Yeah.
I honestly would put him on the same level as Broodmother.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The right games, he's gonna carry it.
The win rates are exactly the same too, but like in terms of like personal experience, you know, I think a Huskar. I mean, you can't take Roche at 10 minutes as Broodmother. I mean, you could try, but he's just gonna kill all your babies. You can as Huskar, and then you're walking around as this monster with like brown boots and an armlet and an Aegis, and you just show up to the carry's lane at 10 minutes. That carry's like, no, fuck. I mean, if he hasn't left already, he's out, you know? Like, he's getting the fuck out of there. I think he's worse than Brood, though. I mean, it's very close, but I think Brood is...
Well, Brood just stomps games harder in the right games.
Yeah.
She's just so hard to deal with.
All right. Cool there. Drazy, your boy, Invoker, Dota buff win rate, 48%. Dota 2 Pro Tracker win rate, 53%. I'd say S tier. What about you?
Yeah, I think Invoker is it's Invoker.
The versatility is just what makes that hero so strong. Like, you can go pretty much any item, not any item, but like there's so many items you can do, and the build path is like, all right, well, I need an extra point in regen, and then you're playing against a Queen of Pain, but you have 3 Quas, so like you can't be booted out of lane, but now you're playing against a Shadow Fiend, so you know, you can just build however you see fit and just combos really well with all the other heroes. But I'm sure, Drazy, you play a lot of Invoker, right?
Yeah. You know, and if you look on Dota 2 Pro Tracker, he's only been picked 921 times in the last 8 days, which isn't anything compared to a Void Spirit or even Ember.
Right.
So it's a little inflated in terms of win rate, but I think in terms of solo carrying games and the amount that Invoker offers, easily S tier.
Again, this is all based on if you know how to play the hero. You know, if you're Crusader and you're watching this video and you've never played Invoker or any of these heroes, excuse me, I'm sorry. Definitely recommend, you know, learning how to play them first before hopping into your ranked matches. Invoker's just a beast, dude. Like, he's a beast.
The nice thing about Invoker, he can fill 2 roles. You can play the Exort style and farm and be a little greedier, or you can play the Quaswex style, make a ton of space.
He scales so well too. Like, he's so strong at like 10 minutes with like phase boots earn. Like, he's just running around and fucking up all your lanes. And then late game, he's got like Cataclysm. Obviously, you're picking Invoker with some setup, you know, with that Tidehunter or that Axe, or you know, you're picking Invoker in a pretty good draft. So definitely, I think S tier. Like,
yeah,
no question. Okay. All right. Oh, another stinker. We got Kunkka. The Admiral. Dota buff win rate 49%. Dota 2 Pro Tracker 46%. A little better than the Dragon Knight there. Well, actually, yeah, a little better than the Dragon Knight. I think if you're playing against like the Zoo meta, like Lycan or Beastmaster, you could definitely move him up to like B or A tier. But I honestly, bro, I'd put him in D tier. Like,
hell, I wouldn't even put him on the chart.
Yeah, well, we gotta put him on there. For those of you who don't know, I guess, like, it's just everyone's so mobile, and they really need to rework X marks the spot. They even reworked Glimpse. You used to be able to like Yules out of Glimpse, but you can't do that anymore. Like, it will just glimpse you through the Yules. But that doesn't work with X marks the spot. So there's just so many ways to get out of it. Like, I played the last Kunkka game I played. I last picked Kunkka, and the enemy carry last picked Riki, and I could not catch this motherfucker for the life of me. He had tricks of the trade, blink strikes, you know. Like, I could not fucking touch him. And I feel like that's the same for like Void Spirit, Storm Spirit, Morphling, you know, all these heroes. If you're playing against mid Batrider, like, that hero's Kunkka's just poo poo.
Yeah, I don't really Kunkka doesn't really have a spot right now. He hasn't had a spot in a while. I know there was I think maybe last patch, pro teams were picking him quite a bit.
Yeah,
I don't
I
really
mean,
remember what the reasoning was.
Secret
That,
just picked them. Secret just picked them. They picked Nisha. They threw Kunkka mid, and they had like a Slark Pango lineup. There's like Kunkka, Slark, Pango were their cores. But they like laned the Kunkka versus a Beastmaster. But that's what I'm saying. Like if you're against like that Zoo meta, like he's there. But if you're not, D tier for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Leshrac, he's fallen a little bit. Pretty strong hero though. Dota buff win rate 49%. Dota 2 Pro tracker 51%. Ever since they changed that Aghanim's Scepter to be something not as strong as the Lightning Storm procs every one tick or whatever. He's definitely dropped a little bit, but I think he's still a very strong hero. Drazy, I think you played Leshrac pretty recently, right?
Yeah, I did.
What are your thoughts?
I'm a huge fan of Leshrac.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of solo carrying games.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically what DP does, but in my opinion, just better.
Yeah, he's got that tower. Yeah, sorry, continue on with your point.
I think he farms hundreds of times faster than DP. He can play the map. If you rush the boots of travel, you do that sort of grittier build where you're all over the map, pushing lanes, and you're kind of just out pushing your opponent at all times. You get super farmed. Then all of a sudden, you show up to a team fight.
You got your travels.
You got
yeah. I've definitely seen that. And then if you need to play that, quicker style too, you could do that too with that Yule's, the Yule's build.
Yeah, he's flexible.
You have a stun. I think he's top of A tier. I don't think I'd put him in S tier just because of the nerfs to him. Also we got some more. We can't put everyone in S tier. I think he's top of A tier. Would you disagree?
I mean, some people consider him a cheese pick, but
I don't think he's a cheese, bro. I think he's got so much flexibility. He's got the stun. He's got a slow. He's got some tower damage. He's got massive nukes. Like sets up with so many different heroes.
He gets tanky with the the Eternal Shroud.
Oh,
too.
so fucking tanky.
That on him, but
I have not played with that on him.
The Shroud on Leshrac is very strong.
Yeah, I think I've only built like 1 or 2 shrouds in my last like 3 games. Because all the mid laners I play, they don't really build Shroud. But I did build it on an OD. I had like Meteor Hand. We were just stomping though. I think Shroud's just fucking broken right now. I think they're not broken,
that
but
item will get nerfed.
Really strong, really strong. Okay. Any more thoughts on Lesh? I don't think we need to.
My thoughts on Lesh. If you want to gain MMR, pick Leshrac.
Okay. I think like top of A tier, right? Like better than Clinkz. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think he's better than Clinkz, even though Clinkz's win rate's higher. But again, like, I think Lesh is just a stronger hero, to be honest. Anyway, Lina, 47% win rate according to Dotabuff in the mid lane. These are all stats from the mid lane, just to remind you all. These aren't like all stats on Lina. Her mid lane stat is 47%, and Dota 2 Pro Tracker, her stat in the mid lane. Want to take a guess, Drazy?
42%.
How did you fucking know? Yes, 42%. Oh, do you have the sheet in front of you?
No. I know she's low.
Yeah, she's low. I mean, why aren't you if you're picking Lina, why aren't you picking like DP or Lesh? Like, or anyone? I don't know. I don't think she's that good. I think she can scale well, but you need like 3-4 items. Like people will just jump you and kill you. And if people jump you and kill you as like an Invoker, you have all these tools to get them off you. Same thing with Warden. Like you're just harder to kill. I think she's way too hard to kill and very easy to abuse. Like she does have that wave clear. She has a stun as well, but I think the meta doesn't really fit her very well. What are your thoughts, Tracy?
Yeah, she's in a weird spot between like magic build, physical build. A lot of the people that do play her mid go the physical build. Then you don't offer a ton of utility in fights. You kind of turn into a right clicker, but it seems kind of counterintuitive on Lina because a lot of her damage is magical, but her passive gives her the attack damage. She just kind of there's a lot of other heroes that do everything Lina does, but just way better, and they are not nearly as easily as killable as Lina.
C tier?
Especially with heroes, I'd say D tier. I think Lina's terrible.
All right. I wanted to say D tier too, to be honest.
Especially with Riki right now.
I think she's better than these two though.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. On the same page there. I've played some games against Alina, and she just destroys me in the lane though. Like,
oh, yeah,
she's such a fucking strong laner. But then after that, it's like, you know, you could run around and kill people on Alina, or you could run around and kill people on a Void Spirit. It's like, I'd want to...
Invoker. Invoker offers a lot of the same things Lina does.
But better, yeah.
Better.
And has survivability with Ghost Walk and Tornado, Deafening Blast, Ice Wall, like all these fucking spells to get him out of tricky situations. So, I'm good on Lina. Any more thoughts on that? I think my stream just closed for a second there. Hold on. Any more thoughts on Lina?
Yeah, nope, I think that's good.
Okay. Lone Druid. Yikes, what a hero. 53% win rate according to Dotabuff, and Dota 2 Pro Tracker, 57% win rate on the Lone Druid. Definitely a cheese pick, in my opinion. Your thoughts? Do you think he's a cheese pick or like a traditional?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not a conventional mid laner.
Okay.
He's very situational. If you're good on the hero, you pick him in the right game. He's just a force to be reckoned with. But
sure.
I would say for the majority of matches, I would steer very clear of Lone Druid.
Yeah, for
very
sure.
Greedy hero.
He is a very greedy hero, but I mean, is he though? I from my experience, he takes my tower. I like do a rotation. He takes my tower, and then I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. Or I stay in lane. He dives me, takes my tower anyway, and then he just like runs around the map and kills people. From my experience, I don't think he's that. I mean, he is greedy, but the way he plays, he's like pressuring your buildings all the time. I mean, Reprot definitely has some thoughts on it. He thinks it's greedy, then it's greedy. He obviously would be the expert compared to me. I just feel like the hero's like really fucking strong. Like laning against it is very, very terrifying if you're the wrong hero. Like if you can't kill that bear.
Yeah, if you're an Ember Spirit or Void Spirit, it's almost impossible to play that lane.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Or like, Alchemist. You can't really kill the bear. He just roots you. I mean, you can kill him kind of early on, but then he gets phase boots and a billion armor and just runs at you, and you're like, oh, this sucks. Or
I envision Lone Druid kind of as a 1. No matter what role is he in, he's kind of a 1 in my eyes. He wants farm. He needs items.
We put him in cheese, right? Like, I'd say S cheese, right? Like
below
these two though.
Yeah, I would say so.
I'd say so. Okay.
He's pretty easily gankable, and
I'm gonna put this here.
Oh yeah.
And talk about it.
If anybody knows anything about current Dota 2, you know Lycan is strong.
All right, here everybody. If you don't believe me, the Dotabuff win rate across all games, Lycan's mid lane win rate is 59%. Holy shit! And looking at the Dota 2 Pro Tracker, so Divine 6K and up, 65% win rate in the mid lane. Hero's fucking broken. Still, in my opinion. Drazy, you play Lycan.
Yeah, I love Lycan. I was playing Lycan last patch when he was considered not that strong.
Yeah.
But
okay, maybe not broken, but in the right games, like in a cheese game where they have nothing to stop you and nothing to stop your summons, like you're getting last pick and there's no Tidehunter in the pool, there's no Bristleback in the pool, there's no Kunkka in the pool, like nothing to kill your summons, and then you randomly pick into an Outworld Devourer and you just run your summons at him, like
yeah, it's very good, very very good. I think the key component is a lot of times people don't itemize properly against Lycan in pub games.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing Lycan hates is when teams stack armor against him, and you kind of negate a lot of the damage that the units do, which you kind of have to get past that 10 to 15 minute timing where he's running you over. But once you do, and you kind of hold out on that, it becomes pretty easy to win the game versus Lycan.
Right.
But I do think he's incredibly good. Definitely a cheese pick, but it does require some skill and understanding of the hero to play him well. But that's another hero that, if I want to win a game, like if I'm really pissed off, I've lost 3 games in a row, I pick Lycan.
Yeah, and you win because it's just Lycan. All right, I don't think much more needs to be said about Lycan, the wolf. Magnus still considered to be a mid laner according to the in-game client. 48% win rate on Dotabuff, and Dota 2 Pro Tracker, 41% win rate. I think he's still probably a cheese hero, or I think either here or D tier. Honestly, I feel as though Magnus, they nerfed him a little too much in terms of being a core. Like they've definitely transitioned to being a support. You don't really win a lot of the lanes that are out there right now, like against an Arc Warden or like a Batrider or a good Invoker. Like, yeah, you have really strong ability to CS. That's great and all, but like, you don't really gank very well until you get like 2 items. What are your thoughts on Magnus?
I don't consider I don't consider Magnus cheese, and I wouldn't even put him in D tier. I think he's at least B.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I know his win rate's kind of low. You know, the one thing Mag kind of suffers at is the high tempo gameplay, which is popular. However, I think when you play him in the mid lane and you farm really well, you get 2 or 3 items, and all of a sudden you're right clicking people for tons of damage. And you get some good RPs off.
But that's you farming though. That's not like you don't make space. Like you.
No, you're not a space maker. That's for sure.
So you're like an alchemist, but you're a worse alchemist.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah.
And you're like an Arc Warden, but a way worse Arc Warden.
But I still think that hero offers a lot in team fights.
Absolutely, but why play it in the mid lane and why not play it as like a position 4 or 5 even?
Because you're not getting that farm that you really
Sure,
want.
the farm, but I think you can offer that to the team fights with like just a blink. Like you don't really need to right click people for 8,000 damage. I mean, you can. I'm arguing for it to be in like C tier. Would you put it there?
I think it's fair. I mean that's fair. He's not great right now.
I don't think he's that great. I think he's better than these heroes though. Like you can definitely carry your games on a Magnus. I mean, you can carry your games on a mid lion if you want, but in terms of like probability,
I think it's important to note that even though like we're rating these heroes in certain tiers, in a lot of brackets with the right mechanics and the right farming, you can carry games
on anyone.
Any of the heroes of these listed for sure.
Yes, on anyone. Medusa, actually pretty surprising win rate. These are mid lane statistics I'm busting out right now, and I heard BSJ on a stream say Medusa was a dog shit mid laner right now in pro level pubs, but stats go against what he says. Medusa Dotabuff win rate 50% and Dota 2 Pro Tracker 53%. And I want to make that notable because Arc Warden is a greedy mid laner and he has a strong win rate, and Medusa is a greedy mid laner and has a strong win rate. Morphling has a pretty decent win rate, pretty greedy mid laner. So I don't know. Is this the patch? Are greedy mid laners coming back? Drazy, what do you think?
No. Medusa's kind of that cheese pick as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't put her up here though. I'd put her like here.
No. She's not strong enough to pick at any point.
I mean, her sample size is really small in pro level pubs. And that's the 53% win rate supports that small sample size.
Yeah, she takes a long time to come online, but I played her the other day actually, and it felt pretty good. But I had a safe laner who could, make the space for me as the mid laner, which is usually the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Like a Slark or
I can't remember who. Maybe it was like a Riki or something.
I mean, if Riki wants to go Diffusal Blade, he can go Diffusal Blade. Same thing with Wraith King too. Like Wraith King, the armlet like Deso build's pretty strong too. It's just that greedy route is far more enjoyable for one players right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Medusa's C or D.
Okay, but like cheese, right? She's a cheese. Would you say?
I mean, some people I kind of consider it a cheese pick.
I consider it a cheese pick because like you're like catching them off guard with that Medusa pick. I don't think she's up here though.
No.
Regardless of the win rate being 53%, pretty strong win rate, but not 65%, 58%, 58%. Like not that high. Okay, Meepo, the Geomancer, 54% win rate on Dotabuff across all brackets. Okay, who would have known that the boosting hero has a 54% win rate? But Dota 2 Pro Tracker, 44% win rate. I don't think he's that good right now. I think there's too much AoE in the meta and like doesn't really fit the tempo. He's like an Alchemist in terms of like farming. You could just ward his camps though, and Meepo doesn't really like want to deward his camps. What are your thoughts on Meepo, Drazy?
I think he's still S cheese personally. I mean, I know that there's a lot of heroes that counter Meepo and so on and so forth, but in the right games, in the right player playing it, Meepo will carry the game.
Okay. Then the question is, where would we put him here? I would say
I think he's above Lone Druid, personally.
I think so too. I think he's below Huskar though.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Because Huskar is just, you can't solo Roche at 10 minutes as Meepo. Like, you need your blink that, you need like 2-3 items.
I don't know, man. Like, Meepo in the right games, you don't have the heroes to deal with it, and someone good is playing it, you just lose. You just lose the game.
Sure.
Huskar, you can like get the vessel and.
I mean, Huskar has a built-in dispel, loves to buy a BKB, loves to buy status resist. Honestly, man, vessel, like, yeah, it counters Huskar and shit, but there's just a lot of tools to really deal with that, Where Meepo,
that one's close. I think those are kind of neck and neck.
Yeah.
To me, like, Meepo's kind of like a Broodmother. You pick it in the game, it's the right game. It's just GG.
I don't think much needs to be said more about Meepo. I like where he is. Moving on to Monkey King. So this is one of the heroes we added in. It wasn't in the in-game client mid laners, but I threw him in there because I think he's a pretty good mid laner. Dota buff win rate, 51% across all levels. And Dota 2 Pro Tracker, sadly, a 49% win rate. I do think his win rate has deteriorated just because of all the nerfs that they've kind of thrown at him with the Ag Scepter only being 3 monkeys now instead of 4, and just tiny nerfs here and there. Definitely a mid lane dominator. You play a lot of monkey mid, Drazy?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's the only place I do play monkey. I still think he's very strong.
I agree.
He does lose a lot of matchups.
He does.
But he also, like the Ember Spirit, Void Spirit wins those. DK wins that. Pangolier, that can go either way depending on who's the better player,
or who's the luckier player.
Who's the luckier player. I do think, in terms of like a traditional roaming ganking hero, like Monkey is just the ideal hero.
Yeah, he's not as good as like an Ember though in terms of roaming and ganking, or a Void Spirit, or
no, I mean not currently, but in terms of what his toolkit is, just
it does
spring and
the stun is good.
The literal design of the hero is ganking people out of a tree.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole concept.
And you do scale into the late game with like 2 carries, basically. Like he's able to.
It's tricky because Monkey wants farm.
Monkey does want farm.
Hinders his mid lane effectiveness, but
I wouldn't put him in A. I would not put him in A though.
I would definitely put him in A.
Dude, we got so many big boys up here. Holy shit.
In my opinion,
I think Death Prophet's better than Monkey.
No.
Really?
No. I no.
I guess in terms of solo carrying your games,
Monkey's far more active than DP. I mean, he doesn't only fight when his ult's off cooldown. Like he can fight in between that timing.
Yeah.
He scales really well.
Sure. Okay, I'll put him in A, but I think
he's probably better than Ember Spirit in reality.
I think he is better than Ember Spirit.
He's just not that popular in the mid lane.
But I think Alk will solo carry more than Monkey, even though Monkey wins matchup. Even though Monkey wins that matchup, like 9 out of 10 times, I feel like Alk is just a stronger pub stomper, basically.
For sure.
Okay. I'm happy with that. Oh, my second least favorite mid laner to play against, Morphling, because I play Ember Spirit, and that's not fun, and I play Alchemist, and that's not fun. Void Spirit, that's not very fun. It's kind of fun. I'm happy when I get that random Shadow Fiend Morphling matchup, but anyway, Morphling, Dota buff win rate, 49%, Dota 2 Pro Tracker, 50%. Pretty average hero. I don't think he's that good of a mid laner, though, like, despite the 50% win rate. If you get him against those matchups that I talked about, like Ember or Alk, it's like, oh, sweet. But if you get him against, like, I don't know, Storm Spirit, Puck, Shadow Fiends, OD, you know, these heroes are just like auto loses almost.
Yeah, I mean, he's a weak laner.
Yeah, he is a weak laner, and
unless he can trade with you, and if he can strength shift and trade the autos with you, then he's always gonna come out on top. But anything with high burst in the early levels of a lane, he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why the SF matchup is so difficult.
I think he definitely if of all the heroes on the list, he's definitely like maybe the best or third best in the top 3 scaling. Like, he's definitely the best late game hero one of the best late game heroes on this list. But in terms of like what a mid laner does, I'd put him in like B tier or C tier.
I think Morphling's A tier.
Bro, we can't put everyone in A tier.
I mean, Morphling is he's that hero, man. Like, you know how to play Morphling, even though your lane might be weak. The hero can fight much earlier than people think he can.
Oh no, I know. He shows up like level 8, and you're like, oh, there are level 8 Morphlings here with no items, or like treads in a Wraith Band. He just like comes in at like 500 HP, does like 3 autos. And one guy's dead. Oh shit! Throw some spells at him. He reacted. Whoops. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like in terms of like what a mid laner does, he doesn't really check the boxes though. Like, he's not as active as like an Ember. He's not as active as like a Lesh. You know, I'd put him above. I want to put him above DP, but if we want to keep debating, you know, maybe we'll put him in A.
I think he's A.
All right, you'll get this one.
He's definitely not S tier, but
I get the next one. Behind, what do you think? I think like.
Yeah, I mean he's probably in between Monkey and Ember or behind Ember. I mean it's close.
Might as well put him here.
He's not B tier. I will argue that one forever.
All right, that's fine.
I mean, granted, like, that's a hero you need a lot of games on, and you have to know your limits of the hero, but
we're gonna need to do an S+ because we got some big boys coming up. We have royally fucked up. I mean, we got Puck and OD coming up, dude.
Both S tier heroes.
Man, yeah, I agree. But like, I think we'll get to Puck when we get to Puck. Necrophos. 57% win rate across all brackets, and surprisingly enough, I noted this here on Dota 2 Pro Tracker. In the off lane, Necrophos has like a 56% win rate, pretty crazy. But in the mid lane, Necrophos has a 26% win rate. I wonder what the fuck that is.
Because.
But 26? 26? Oh, he can't rotate. No, he's a walking stick.
Even if you TP into a tower, like, you might be able to Reaper somebody and get the kill.
And you don't build any mobility. I mean, you don't want to build any mobility on that hero either.
No.
Like, you can, but you don't want to. Like, you want to just tank the fuck up. And I love Necro, dude. Like, I have a personal praise for Necro, but honestly, I'd put him in, like, D tier.
Yeah. He just doesn't do anything that you want a mid to do. And I think the difference in between why he's so strong in the off lane is he can kind of be a little bit more static. Mid lane, you can't. Even a Morphling can fight and move around the map better than a Necro.
Yeah. Okay. I think he's
D tier for sure.
Better than Kunkka, worse than DK.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. They're all pretty horrendous.
Okay. I love Necro, though. Don't get me wrong. And there are some lanes, like Necro feels so strong, like
Yeah.
very strong. But those are like,
It's like right now, like Puck single-handedly can just crush Necro.
yeah, yep. OD, a meta-defying hero for sure. Outworld Destroyer now. Dotabuff win rate across all games, 49%. Dota 2 Pro Tracker win rate, 51%. At the second he was changed, I honestly thought he was like broken. But after playing him a couple times and playing against him a couple times, like if you beat this hero in lane, he just like turns into a save hero. Like he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about OD to me is it's actually not OD that is that strong. It's that Meteor Hammer is so strong.
Right?
And I think
Oh, and I mean, he is pretty strong though. Like the changes that they've given him, like he's like 6 or 7 armor, like on an OD
nicely.
Like that's crazy. The Arcane Orb being like free basically because it's a percentage of your mana pool. Like you really never run out of mana on the hero. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. What did you want to say about OD?
I mean, I just think that, like, I was stepping back the other day, I was asking myself, would OD be as good or seem as strong if Meteor Hammer didn't do the damage that it did and the combo didn't exist? Probably not. Like, it would still just be, like, the same old OD.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of point is proven when you're seeing support DKs buying Meteor Hammer. You know, like, there's just so many heroes that are buying items.
It's a great hero. He's strong right now. Like, he's definitely strong right now. Again, I wanted to put him in S tier. When I thought of this video like 2 weeks ago, I was like, bro, this hero's S tier. I think I'd put him in A though, or like.
I think he's S tier. He's highly.
He's not mobile, dude. He's not like as a mid laner though. Like. He's very hard to punish in the lane. He is very hard to punish in the lane though. I'll give him that. Like I've tried to punish him, but like the build up for the Meteor Hammer, you know, he like has a crown already. He gets that ring of health really quick, or ring of whatever it's called. I don't play carry, so I wouldn't fucking know. Ring of regen is the cheap one, bro. It's ring of health. No.
Oh yeah, you're right. Ring of
yeah,
health
you idiot. You don't play carry either.
I need my battle pass. Dota 2 tribute.
Your battle fury. I mean, it builds into Vanguard too and other shit, but. Yeah, I mean, he's just really hard to poke out a lane, I've found, with salves and being able to deny creeps. I'm fine putting him in S tier, but I think he's worse than Invoker.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. They're close. I think
they're for sure close, but you know, our 20 viewers or however many people they want to know, bro.
OD's scary right now, man. I fear an OD far more than I fear an Invoker.
Yeah. Worse than Arc Warden?
Yeah, I mean, definitely more common. More.
We'll just put him at the top. I want to put him in like S+, honestly. Because that's the opposite of what I just said. But, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this hero. We'll just throw him in S, I guess. Top of S?
Yeah, that's fair. He's strong right now. He's being picked in all kinds of positions and having insane impact.
Yeah, I put him top of S. I just feel like if you lose the lane, like you can't really catch back up, so you don't have flash farm anymore like you used to. Pretty weak farmer. So, like that first 15 minutes, like super important for your game. Pango. Bro, this fucking hero. 49% on Dotabuff win rate. Dota 2 Pro Tracker, 53% win rate. Now, if there was an S+, dude, I'd put Pango there.
Yeah.
Because
Pango thrives in the 1v1 matchup. I think Pango sucks in 2v2 matchups. But 1v1, he definitely thrives. Leshrac's one of those heroes that can destroy all melee heroes. You just, you get the stun, you get the edict on them, and they're probably dead.
Yep.
But even, Pango Ember, Pango does fine. Pango Void Spirit, Pango does fine. Puck
even Pango,
dude,
even Pango SF. Like, if you catch Like, you play the first couple of waves, like, pretty like, not the first couple waves, like, levels, right? Once you're, like, 6, he goes for a rune. You can just kill him. Like...
even before then, I mean, if you swash on top of SF...
Yeah, he gets, like, 1 raise, and that's it.
He can't deal with you.
Yeah, he can't deal with you. You have, like, an Orb of Venom or anything to stick on him or whatever. Bro,
Yeah, Pango's strong.
Like, I feel like we have to move everything down. Because I feel like Pango is, like, way fucking better than... In terms of, like, a mid laner, right? I feel like he's better than Arc Warden by, like what a mid laner does. You know, run around the map, make pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I
also
think,
scale better.
Pango is arguably S tier.
I'm doing it, bro.
I mean, some people would probably disagree, but...
I think if you know what you're doing on the hero, like Lukey, a very controversial player, a lot of people say he's like, oh, really bad and shit. Like, he got to fucking like 8k on Pango. Like, that hero's fucking strong. I'm not dissing Lukey or anything like that, but like, that hero's fucking broken, dude.
And I think the strength of Pango is not necessarily just his damage, but he can build damage items or where he can build utility items. Kind of depending on, like, you know, if you have like an off-lane lone druid or, you know, an off-lane windranger who's not going to build a pipe, well then Pango can build the pipe. Or Pango can build the greaves or whatever.
Pango can build literally anything and have impact. Literally anything have impact. He can gank really well. He pushes waves extremely. He fucking pushes waves well. He ganks well. He has disable. Fast. He has save with the new shard. Like, you don't need to build a BKB in it. You don't need to really build a save because you have that roll up ability. Like, if you have a stun flying at you and you need to get that shit off, like you need to get your rolling boulder off, you can just do the roll up ability and like pop right out and fucking go. It's like pump the brakes. Like, have you played Pango with the shard?
Oh yeah,
Shit's
Pango's one of my most played heroes.
I think he's fucking super strong. Puck, are we good on Pango?
Yeah.
I had to make an S plus, dude. I'm sorry. I think Puck is also like S plus.
Yeah, no question.
Puck, Dota buff, win rate 45% across all brackets. Pretty high skill ceiling on the hero though, guys.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Dota 2 Pro Tracker, 55% win rate across all games. Also, like,
she might be the highest
second
mid lane right now.
most. Yeah, she is the highest. She is the highest.
Not counting Lycan or something like that.
Well, yeah, but like in terms of pick rate, she's the second most picked hero in the game right now, next to OD. I think better than Pango. Just the survivability, the disable, the dream coil being insane against all the mobiles.
What's actually crazy though, if you really look at the patch notes, they didn't really change much about Puck. They gave her a little bit more damage. That's really about it. I think the biggest difference is the addition of new items. Like the Witchblade on Puck is really strong.
Yeah.
There's new neutrals that benefit Puck quite a lot.
Yeah, Fairy's Trinket, insane.
Yeah, just like it's little small things that were added to the game.
I think the meta just fits her really well though too, because she's able to scale like insanely well, but she's also able to fight insanely well with virtually nothing. You don't really lose lanes. Like, you can first pick this hero, and there are very few lanes that you'll really like lose on Puck, you know? Like,
yeah, and even if you do, you just go play the map and get kills everywhere else.
Yeah. Super fucking strong hero right now. Waning Rift, an insane ability against a lot of popular heroes too. Like, even Riki, you know, Riki like counters Puck, but like Puck is like one of the hardest counters to Riki because he can't use any of his abilities out of coil. Like, if you coil him, he's fucked.
Yeah, this is another hero. If you want to climb MMR, pick Puck.
Pick Puck, dude.
To learn it, but
pick Puck, absolutely. All right, we're almost to the end here. We only got like 12 more to go, but these should be pretty quick. Pugna, one of my favorite heroes to play.
Yikes. 50.
You don't like Pugna?
I hate playing against Pugna. It drives me nuts.
Yep, I know you do. Maybe 50% win rate across all levels. Dota 2 Pro Tracker, 51% win rate. Pugna, I'll talk about Pugna because I love Pugna. He's got power push. He's got save. He's got wave clear. He's got his Nether Ward, which is very strong against a lot of heroes, but pretty lackluster against a bunch of others. And he also has this just sustain, with that life drain. Falls in the same problem as Death Prophet, though, where you kind of need a team to work around you. Your teammates need to know how Decrepify works. I had a Divine 4 Legion command, or not a Divine 4, I don't know who it was, PA, and he was like afraid to get dueled. They had no counters to my Decrepify, and he just would not, he just, I was basically frontlining for him, which sucked, and then I died and we lost the game. I was like, please go get dueled, and he just was like, no, I'll die if I get dueled. There's no fucking way he would die if he got dueled. I'm a Pugna. Definitely need some team coordination for that to work. Your players need to know what your hero does. You are able to take over the map a little bit, like DP, push those towers and push out waves. Very strong on that. But honestly, I'd put her below DP in terms of overall strength right now.
I was going to say B tier for sure.
Any questions, Drazy, or comments on that? My analysis?
I think that's fair.
If there was a hero I would tilt, if I had a tilt tier list, like whoever I tilt the most on, it's probably Pugna. Yeah, bro, I'm have my anti-mage, he'll blink 3,000 units in front of me and then wonder where my Decrepify is. It's like, bro, I'm back here. I'm in the back. I can't save you. That hero is frustrating as hell. I think we're good on Pugna though, right?
Yep.
Okay. Queen of Pain, Dota buff win rate, 46% win rate across all levels. Pretty poo-poo. But Dota 2 Pro Tracker puts her at 50%. I just talked a lot about Pugna. You want to talk a bit about Queen of Pain, Drazy?
My girl Akasha? Yeah, I think Quap is still very viable. A lot of people would say she's bad, or you don't see her as much because there's other heroes that are a little bit better, but easily Quap is viable pick her in your game. You can still carry the game. She still offers a lot. I think Witch's Blade is very good on Quap. With the dagger slow plus the Witch Blade slow, gives you a little extra stats. It's a nice mid game item on the hero, and she offers a lot in team fights. You can push waves. Yeah, I mean, I think she's.
I put her mid B tier, right? That's on.
Yeah, that's accurate. I mean, I think I'd put her above DP.
Death Prophet?
Because
you don't really need that team coordination at all on Quap.
Yeah, Quap can solo kill people.
You just show up to a fight, if you're having a tough game, if you're having a good game, like an easy game, you can just fight nonstop. You have a pretty rough game, you just show up to fights later and just pump out 900 damage all of a sudden, and people are like, whoa, what the fuck, where did that come from? So, her cast animations are so strong. Blink ER, it's hard to react to that shit. You need to.
Her shard is actually pretty good.
Her shard is very strong, yes. Scales very well, too. Not super well, but she scales pretty well with her talents, Unfortunately, she doesn't have the fear anymore. She has just damage on her ult and a free Lycan sphere, but a lot of times the free Lycan sphere is, pretty fucking strong. Especially if you pair that with another Lycan sphere. You have, 2 Lycan spheres going off.
Yeah, it's interesting because when the fear was the talent, nobody took the spell block because the fear was just that good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now you could kind of go between either, and both are very wild.
Yep. I played against a Bane, I blink in. He I have to pop his Lycan, so he nightmares me. And he's like, all right, I got her. And then he goes to ult me, and I'm like, idiot, I got 2 of those. Fun stuff on her.
I do think Quap is a very good pick for solo carrying games.
Yeah, I agree.
Winter lane, she can play the map very well.
Yep. Ganks really well. Has rune control too. A lot of these heroes that are higher up on the tier list, like Puck. We didn't even talk about rune control, but Pango and Puck, some of the best rune control heroes with that ability to get on that rune really quick. Quap has that ability too with her blink.
I think the one important note though is that because Puck is so strong.
Oh yeah,
it
Quap is like
kinda,
lower. Yeah.
it's kind of hindered Quap's
Such,
effectiveness.
yeah,
But
definitely. Agreed. Razor, wah. Dotabuff win rate 48% across all levels. Again, these are mid lane statistics. Dota 2 Pro Tracker has him at 42% in the mid lane.
wow.
Yeah, in the carry role, Dota 2 Pro Tracker has him at like 57% or some shit, but that's in like 100 games or whatever. You're against like a Tidehunter PA core combo or whatever. I'd say, without even like really talking about him, I'd say like below Magnus. What about you,
Yeah,
Drazy?
I mean I would not have thought his win rate was that low out of mid because the hero's actually in an okay spot.
Is he
But
though?
I mean, I
Like,
think so.
you want to dominate the lane, so you got to max your W. But you want to push out lanes, so you got to max your Q. But your Q doesn't even really push out the lanes that well. You also want to gank, so you got to max your E. So you kind of want to max all of your spells. Don't forget to spell your alt either, because your alt's really strong.
Yeah, I mean, I just think overall that the hero's in an okay spot. I mean, obviously in the carry role and even in the offlane role, he's got a 50% win rate.
I just feel like with all the mobile mids, like they can kind of just run over you, and like yeah, you have that link, but like I'm just gonna, I don't know,
Yeah,
illusory
I mean, as a mid laner,
order.
I think he's D tier as a mid laner. I think he fits the other roles a little bit better.
D tier, not below, not above. Like I thought I was gonna put him like here, like.
I mean, C tier is fine too. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I think he's better than Lina and
Kunkka.
Necro and Kunkka for sure.
Yeah.
Despite what the win rate says, like I'm not basing we're like we said in the beginning, we're not basing this off of like just the win rate, you know, but
Right.
just like what I've seen in pubs and what I've played, how strong it's felt. I did play a mid Razor game recently.
So
We did win, but you know then I played against a mid Razor and he got absolutely shit on. Funny thing about Razor, a lot of them are going Mask of Madness, and they're linking you. If you ever see that in your ranked games, this is totally sidetracked. Just buy a fucking Blade Mail and he'll kill himself. He can't like Windranger, same shit. She can kind of stop hitting you, but the only thing Razor can do is run away. But then instead of running away from Razor, you run after Razor, and he straight up just kills himself. If you have a Blade Mail, like he will kill himself because he has negative like 7 armor, and he just attacks you and kills himself. Anyway, again, sidetracked. Any more thoughts on Razor?
No, I think that's accurate.
Okay. Shadow Fiend, one of my favorite heroes. My boy.
Name.
48% win rate across all games. Okay, well, let's hope his
It's atrocious.
Immortal level win rate is good. Oh, it's not? 47%. Yeah, I mean, with the Arcane Blink, he's a really strong hero, but that's like 8,000 gold. And then you blink in, but you need a BKB. That's another 4,000 gold, so that's 12,000 gold right there. Oh, maybe you want Boots of Travel to accelerate that, so that's 14,000 gold right there. You just need so much shit on this hero, and your pace is like yes, you can make some plays with the Yules and run around and kill people, but I don't know, man. I don't think he's that good, even though I love him. He does win the 1v1 for sure, but I feel like he has no real survivability till he gets those items.
Is a weird hero because he wants you to be on top of him, but he doesn't want you to be on top of him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I like that.
You know what I mean? Like he likes it. He likes when you're on top of him. He ults and destroys you, but at the same time, when heroes are on top of him, he's like, "Fuck, get off me."
Yeah, get off me.
Kind of that weird in between, but honestly, I'm kind of coaching somebody right now who's an Archon, and one of the heroes that I would keep telling him to play to get out of Archon is Shadow Fiend. And I know his win rate is lower in the higher brackets, which is understandable.
It's really high in the lower brackets, don't get me wrong. When I read his Dotabuff win rate earlier, YouTube, like that's across all games. His win rate in like Archon is like pretty strong. Again, those are like Smurfs playing him and shit, but like he is definitely a pub stomper. Right? You'd agree, Drazy? Like you can
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I played a match the other day and went 19-4.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think he does flash farm, and I think people kind of underestimate SF in a lot of ways. They don't.
You do not make a lot of space though on the hero. You don't make like any space until you get Yule's Blink. Like you can solo kill people with the Yules. It's really awkward though. You just kind of like walk up and you're like But yeah,
I will say though, I think people have gotten too locked into the magic build now, and are forgetting.
Bro, the right click build though, it's like your timing instead of like 15 minutes. That's like Blink and Yules. Like your timing's like 18 minutes or 20 minutes then with the right click. I mean, you hit a stronger timing for sure. Like you'd have like BKB and Yasha or whatever at 20 minutes. Like you could totally do that and win a fight. I just feel like it's a little too slow for the right click builds. I mean, would you agree or?
Yeah, overall SF's in a weird spot.
I'm leaning towards like B but below Pugna. Maybe I don't think he's A.
No, he's definitely not A. I mean, I think B is fair.
I think maybe above, maybe like here, because you can definitely solo carry games with the hero, but
yeah, Quap offers more for sure.
Quap offers more. It's just
comes online faster.
Yeah, I love SF though, guys. Don't get me wrong. Like my win rate this patch and probably Drazy 2 is like pretty stellar. But we both have like 300 SF games. So.
I have been seeing Thompson do like Swift Blink and stuff on SF.
Oh, dude, yeah, Swift Blink, man. That's a whole video right there. All the weird shit. I saw a Spirit Breaker do Swift Blink. They would like blink and then charge, and then their movement speed was like literally like 2,000 or some shit.
We still have like 2 more little hero patches coming, so there's no telling. They might tweak SF some more.
Oh, they will. They might, yeah. Okay, I'm good on SF. You good on SF?
Yep.
Only got a couple more to go. Thank goodness. Sniper. Whoa, Sniper. Dotabuff win rate across all brackets. 53% win rate. But in Immortal level pubs, 41% win rate. I'd put him here.
Sure, I'd put him in D tier. I think the hero's in a horrendous spot.
Yeah.
With the popularity of heroes like Puck and Void Spirit, you pick this hero. These 2 heroes go into the.
If there was a D cheese or like an F cheese, I'd put him there. I think he's definitely a cheese hero. But yeah, I'd put him in D. I think he's poo poo.
He doesn't gank. He doesn't roam.
I have won my last like 3 games on mid sniper though. But those were really niche games. Like those were like. They had no initiations, and I checked the guy's Dota buff, and he played, like, the last 20 games of, like, fucking Invoker or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing Invoker Sniper, you don't kill Sniper unless he misplays it or you go Exort. It's only really 2 ways.
Yeah, I'd put him in D. I'd put him above Kunkka, though, just because Kunkka's so bad.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Okay, my boy... 700 games, Storm Spirit, Dota buff win rate 48%, Dota 2 Pro Tracker 52%. That's pretty fucking good. Bro, I'd put him in S tier.
I don't
know. I think you can solo carry games on this hero.
Absolutely.
No, I think you can solo carry games better than like a Lesh. Because you don't really. I
kind of consider Storm a cheese pick too, though.
I don't know. He's a traditional mid, bro. You'll see him a lot. Like his pick rate's pretty high.
He is a traditional mid, but
he's not like a. You're not trying to like cheese the. Yes, you do benefit from like. There is a cheese element to like, oh, they have no stuns. I'm gonna pick a Storm Spirit, but like, I just pick Storm Spirit when like, okay, my carry isn't that greedy, so I can be a little greedy. So, yes, he's greedier than Ember. He's greedier than Void. He's greedier than, like,
he's one of the greediest mid laners, for sure.
But he still can be there. Like, he can be there if he needs to. And Storm loves to respond. He doesn't like to make pressure. He's a very reactionary hero. He's not a very action hero. Like,
Storm wants to TP to the tower and then zip in and kill everybody.
Yes, when they're diving. Like, I want to show up when they're diving. Yeah. But I think if you have that in mind and you have like a good understanding of the hero, you can definitely solo carry games. So I would argue for
I think S
lower
tier is
S
fair.
tier.
That's fair.
And that's not pre-bias. That's just like I think he's a strong hero right now. Just in terms of like, you kind of do want that. You don't want like to be super greedy, but like a little greed is like we talked about with Arc Warden. Like you can solo carry games with that hero.
I mean, Storm definitely wants items. Make no mistake. He wants his Orchid, his Bloodstone, his BKB, Hags. Like he wants his items for sure. But
yep. All right, only 7 more to go. Templar Assassin, Dotabuff win rate 49%. Dota 2 Protractor 51%. I don't play a lot of TA. You play a lot of TA, Drazy?
I do.
I have my thoughts on her, but you go ahead and take this one away. Where would you place her?
I think TA is very much a solo carry hero. She's extremely greedy. She does not really want to play high tempo up until about 16, 17 minutes. Even if you buy a Blink Dagger first, you still don't do that much damage. You still kind of want that Blink Dust of timing. So in the current meta, she kind of struggles a little bit because there's just a lot of pressure being put on the map, and she can't necessarily keep up unless there's other heroes making that space for her. And just in the standard way that Dota is being played right now, the majority of your safe laners are going to be farmier heroes. So I think her place right now is kind of weak. I mean, I think the hero overall is fine. She's strong. I just don't think she fits the meta too well currently. I personally would put her like B tier. I think she's.
I was gonna say top of C tier.
I think she's B tier.
B tier.
I mean, I would, I think in a lot of ways she's better than SF.
Oh, she's like a great laner. Like, don't get me wrong, she's a great laner, and she's able to flash farm and shit. But like you were saying, with the pace of the game being like a little faster,
And she falls off really hard.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like a lot of the meta carries right now are like PL, Slark. Slark is hard. Lycan's hard for her to deal with. Even Wraith King.
Batrider.
Yeah, so I don't know, bro. I'm saying like top of C because like just the meta is like so against her right now.
I think she's pretty B tier. She's still an okay mid. I mean, her win rate is definitely higher than Shadow Fiends.
It is higher than Shadow Fiends. Those are like, obviously these are like almost a cheese pick at that point. Like they don't have anything to deal with TA bubbles, so I'm gonna pick TA.
I think she's B. I mean, she's still fine as a
above.
Yeah, probably above Pugna.
Okay.
She definitely can solo carry games. And as a hero, she's not in a bad spot. It's just the meta overall.
All right. I don't think there's. Are you good with TA? Sorry.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Tinker. 49% win rate across all levels on Dotabuff, and Dota 2 Protractor has him at 43% win rate. I put him like cheese pick, but like bad.
Is there an F tier cheese pick?
We could make one.
No, I think C is fine. I mean, I think he's probably better than Medusa, honestly, but
yeah, we can put him in there. I mean, the Tinker spammers will be the Tinker spammers, and they're gonna have like 60% win rate on the hero. But that's like, bro, you're playing like 1,000 games of Tinker or some shit to get at that, like, to be a Tinker spammer.
Yeah, I mean, it really takes like 2-3 deaths in the lane, man, and like your game is just.
Your game's over.
Load so hard.
Yeah, your game's over. I don't like Tinker.
No,
I like him conceptually, but yeah, against like all the heroes right now, I think he's dog.
Puck
he's
can catch you. Void Spirit can catch you.
He's just too slow. Also, like he doesn't gank until he has like blink bots, ether. Like even like blink bots is like not that strong. That's like oh, I could do like 300 damage every 2 seconds with my rearm.
Storm can catch him, Invoker can catch him.
Yeah. I put him in C cheese. All right, we good there?
Yep.
Viperino, Dotabuff win rate across all brackets 52%. Dota 2 Pro Tracker 46%. Yeah, you win the lane, but you kind of lose the game. That's always been a thing on Viper.
My motto with Viper is win lane, lose game.
Yeah, I mean that is the motto. I mean, have I won games and have you won games with Viper? Absolutely, but more often than not, you kind of fall off. And they also took out the, if I'm not mistaken, they took out the Nether Toxin Silence talent.
Yeah, they did. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it's like he doesn't even scale that well anymore. Used to be like 100 damage at 20. Yeah, honestly, I'd put him in C tier.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that strong right now.
He's pretty weak.
And it's kind of like what I was saying with Razor is like you need to max your W to like dominate the lane, but you need to max your Q to push it out. And then with Viper, like you kind of need to max your Q to dominate the lane because like level 1 and 2 Q are like pretty underwhelming. But you need your Nether Toxin to like farm and accelerate your push out the lane and like farm. So it's like you get to this point where like, oh, I dominated the lane, but they're just jungling and they're getting way more CS than me. And then the lane gets to their tower and they push it out in 2 seconds and then they go back. So they're just like, they're beating me, but like I can't take their tower because I'm just a Viper. It's like, it feels weird. So, yeah, I think bottom of C or maybe even he's better than Razor. I think he's better than Magnus, bro.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I'm cool with that. 4 more to go. Visage. Oh God, I wish I played this hero. Dotabuff win rate 59% across all games. Now, remind you guys, this is a boosting hero. Like they'll pick Visage, Meepo, and Lone Druid, pretty much. So that's where that's probably coming from. And then according to Dota 2 Pro Tracker, he has a 53% win rate in the mid lane. I'd say cheese, right?
Yeah.
Like S cheese.
Yep.
Better than Meepo. Better than Huskar.
Yeah, he's somewhere in there.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
For those who haven't played against a Visage, it's really annoying. Gravekeeper's Cloak is actually a really strong ability for for instances of magical damage. Like, it doesn't do very well against, like, Flame Guard, but against, like, a Zeus or a Void Spirit, like, very hard to kill a Visage. On top of that, he scales extremely well and just trades pretty well once he gets his birds, so...
and he gets that Shadow Blade now
from the Ags, yeah. Yep. Scary force to be reckoned with. Okay, 3 more to go. Your boy Void Spirit. Got a 52% win rate in Dotabuff. Got a 52% win rate in Dota 2 Pro Tracker. Honestly, man, I'd put him in S+.
Yeah, I think this hero is still broken, honestly.
Yeah. If you know what you're doing, I mean, you got 3 escapes. 4 if you get the Yules. And the Yules just sets you up for another escape because your cooldowns are all pretty fucking low. So, like, oh, I don't have my W, but I have my Yules, and my W is coming up in 3 seconds, and then you pop out of the Yules, and then you get W, and then you get the... You know, it's just like... God, killing this hero is so fucking hard.
It's not only that, his laning is just so good. His attack animation is, like, one of the best in the game.
Yeah, dude, and then the damage. Like, it's like 59 or 57 without Quelling Blade.
Even heroes like Puck, who you would think, in theory, should beat Void Spirit in lane. His attack animation is just so good.
Yeah, high roll of 60 without a Quelling Blade. Without any stats. So, like, you come to lane with, like, obviously, like, Fairy Fire. You're looking at, like, 65?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's,
if he catches you with a taunt, he could potentially kill you, too.
Oh, and he's got the range creep secure, where he, like, taunts you and then denies your range creep, and you're like, shit. Like, fuck, I really couldn't, like, I'm trying to CS, but he throws the Remnant at me. It's like, I think he's awesome. And then there's also the versatility of the hero, right? Where, like, you can go that right-click style still. I think it's pretty strong. But also, like, that magic style is pretty strong. A mix of both.
Hybrid works, too.
Hybrid works. Get, like, Yules into Deso. Like, I've won games with that, like, wacky shit. Like, Very strong hero. You think he's good there? I think he's
Absolutely.
maybe better than Pango.
Yeah, I mean he is top tier, no doubt.
Okay. All right. Last two here. We have Windranger. She's in a weird spot right now. 49% win rate according to Dotabuff, and 48% win rate according to Dota 2 Pro Tracker. The nerf to MKB really hurt her. She doesn't really know what items she wants to build. On the website, they're going like Gleipnir, Gleipnir. My last game I played with her, I didn't have a terrific KDA, but I built the Gleipnir. I built Gleipnir. I built the MKB anyway. Yeah, she's just I don't think she's good right now. Just because I feel like it's hard to kill people. Like, it's hard to kill Void Spirit. It's hard to kill Puck. It's hard to kill Pango. It's hard to kill Storm. Like, your hero is designed to kill people. So
I'd put her around Quap, I think.
I'd say so. I'd think worse.
Yeah, slightly
Maybe
worse, for sure.
Maybe bottom of B or top of C.
Probably bottom of B.
Okay. I think she's okay. I don't think her build has really been defined yet, but definitely consider getting that Gleipnir item on her, Gleipnir, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Because if you hit a Gleipnir on multiple heroes and then follow that up with a shackle shot, that's almost 8 seconds of disable. And a ton of damage, and then your team follows that up. So, yeah.
And a lot of it too is Void Spirit can kill Windranger quite easily.
Oh, I mean, Puck can, Batrider is great at killing her. Storm Spirit.
It's another one of those cases where she's not so much bad. It's just there's other heroes that are better than her that will shut her down.
For sure. All right, we're good on Windranger.
Yep.
Last but not least, our boy Zeus, coming in at a 56% win rate across all games. Pretty good. I mean, Zeus is a very punishes noobs pretty heavily. But then taking him over to Dota 2 Pro Tracker in the 6K plus games, he averages about 52% win rate. I think the hero's pretty strong. I think he's definitely one of the greedier mids still. Doesn't make a ton of space, but does offer a ton of damage. And in later game scenarios where the fights are really chaotic and it's hard to get on top of you, you're just going to win those fights 9 out of 10 times. But if they get on top of you, then you just get fucking owned and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think he was stronger last patch. I think he's going down a little bit. I still think he's a little bit too strong, actually, but I wouldn't say he's S tier.
I'd say A. Yeah, A. I'd say A. That's what I was gonna say.
He's a reliable pick for sure. Doesn't lose most lanes.
Oh, bro, I don't think he loses with the newer build, right? Where you get triple null or double null and max arc lighting. Bro, you're basically Shadow Fiend. You walk up to the lane, press 2 buttons, and then you're done. You say bye, and that was the lane. So, I mean,
it's very, very hard to punish him in lane.
Yeah, and denying against this hero, bro. I played against Zeus the other day. I mean, the stats on this hero, man,
his
63,
way too much damage.
63 auto damage. So you're oh well, I can't deny against him because he spams it out with arc lightning. But at least I can get my CS. And then he walks up and he hits it for 63 damage. And you're like, what the fuck?
I've always wondered why this hero's right clicks are so high.
Well, they weren't. They weren't previously.
I know.
They buffed it. It used to be fucking ridiculous, 50 or something. Which isn't ridiculous. That's that makes sense. 50 damage. But yeah, I'd put him in A. You'd agree?
Yeah, I mean, great team fight.
Probably superior than I think worse than Lesh. Maybe better than Lesh.
No, I think him, Lesh, and Clinkz are all kind of on the same.
I'll just put him here.
Yeah, he's pretty balanced overall, I would say.
All right. How do you feel about the list, Drazy?
I mean, I think it's pretty accurate. I'm sure some top 100 immortals would disagree on all different levels, but
Yeah, I
For the
mean, this
majority of
isn't
players. I think
this
this
is
is
yeah, this isn't. I think this is a great list. I think it's not like, obviously there's going to be some disagreement. Like someone's going to watch this and be like, "Oh, well, I own on my Razor games. He's way better than C," and that's totally fine. I'm not. This isn't like the law of God or anything like that. I think it's a pretty good list though.
And I think it's important to note, like, we're still fairly early in 7.28, all things considered.
Yeah.
And some of these heroes just might not have discovered their builds yet.
For sure. Like Windranger, like she doesn't really know her build path because she like doesn't want to get an MKB anymore. But like, yeah, I think there's definitely some undiscovered tech in 7.28.
Yeah, I think if you remember back at the last patch, it wasn't until like towards the end of the patch that people kind of discovered that Leshrac's Ags was really good.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden you saw Leshrac.
Everybody. Yep. And then who knows? I mean, maybe like, I don't know. Maybe Quap Ags is actually broken. Who knows? I mean, I don't think so, but we'll see. Any closing thoughts, Drazy?
I think just most importantly, I think the best advice for any player wanting to gain MMR is to pick 3 or 4 of the heroes from this list that interest you and spam those heroes and learn what the hero does. Because
sure,
I think really with any of these heroes, if you really get good with those heroes and you understand the game and you understand how to approach it with those heroes, you can gain MMR.
Absolutely. I think
Just
if
because
you
pick S plus Puck doesn't mean you're going to win every game if you don't understand how to execute the hero.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Thompson, if you viewers, know who Thompson is, I hope you do. Even Thompson, he advocates for the 3 heroes spamming to gain MMR. Like, it's a true and tried form because you're not really focusing on the mechanics so much. It's just like making all of the mechanics that much better. So you can focus on like the macro level game rather than the micro level game. So, it's a little messy. But yeah, I recommend, obviously, like Drazy said, picking out 3 of these heroes and just trying to master them. And I would recommend anyone in this category here right now, S plus through A. You think so, Drazy, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair.
And don't get me wrong, if you guys want to play Shadow Fiend, go play some Shadow Fiend. But
I'll still pick Shadow Fiend on my pubs because I just love the hero. But
Shadow Fiend's amazing. I love him. But all things considered, all right, that's all we got for today. This is probably a pretty long video. Thank you, Drazy, so much for stepping in and helping me out with this tier list, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Links to everything I talked about in the description. Bye-bye, YouTube.
thanks, guys.
Say bye, Drazy.
Goodbye. Until next time.